Weekly Rewind.
All right, let's get into the quick news of the day. I might as well start with this. Rob Gronkowski went down in a heap yesterday.
It looked horrific.
I mean, I have Rob Gronkowski. He's part of that team that's come back from 1-4, and I have Brady. So it's kind of like two players are writhing on the ground there. Like Brady's also grabbing his knee horribly. Now reports are looking better. He was carted off the field, but they said I was reading tweets that he was walking onto the bus, without crutches, without a limp. It was funny that the news reporting on Twitter got so bad. It was like, Rob Gronkowski, he appears hydrated right now. He appears very hydrated. He carried his luggage. Rob Gronkowski's luggage is packed well. Like, it was any report that was breaking, according to Rob Gronkowski, was coming out. So what do you guys think? Is he we don't know much. He's still getting an MRI today.
Yeah, we got to get the MRI results in today, but there was a really good angle of the injury, and he hyperextended his knee, something wicked. So you can understand
the pain.
The pain that he was going through. It was the same knee that he destroyed earlier in his career. So you combine how bad it hurt with just
the fear.
Instantly when he went down, he went, not again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done.
Yep.
So
doesn't want to that like, I don't want to look down. I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to believe it. I just need to move my upper body, and there was some of that in it. So the nice thing is his foot wasn't on the ground, so it gave his leg the ability to kind of whip with the knee. So hopefully he misses 1 week or maybe 2 weeks and comes back for the fantasy playoffs. Really hoping he misses this week.
Well, if he comes back in 2 weeks, he's back for the playoffs.
Yeah.
For most leagues, but if he misses
this
more
week.
than 2 weeks.
Andy and I, in our league of record that he's been talking about, are going head-to-head this week for the bye week into the playoffs. Somehow you've managed
I have
your
to
way back.
outscore you, and it's not going to help losing Gronkowski.
The Gronkowski, I'd mentioned this to you guys, the injury reminded me very much of the Robert Griffin when he was playing against the Ravens. I don't know if you guys remember it.
RG3.
Yeah, he was basically horizontal, and I think it was T. Suggs hit his leg, and it did a similar thing where it whipped.
Yep.
Moving forward,
we'll learn a lot more this week.
With the information that's coming out, I think he'll be okay long term.
All right, so he misses.
He's going to miss a couple weeks.
So how bad does that affect Brady? Because you've already got no Amendola, no Edelman, no Deion Lewis, now maybe no Gronk for a week. Yeah, Keyshawn Martin did nothing. Scott Chandler got involved a little bit.
Scott Chandler.
But you know what's amazing is you can just see such a difference between Chandler and Gronkowski.
Yes, but Scott Chandler he got 11 targets yesterday.
I know.
He's going to be
so you're signing him.
He's going to be a hot pickup.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. And I think this pushes Amendola back a little bit faster. If he was on the cusp next week, I think that they really could use him. If he comes back, I think Brady's going to be fine.
So the perfect season's over.
Yep.
Did all they could. Brady seemed to come a little bit unraveled emotionally at the end of that game. Just not that I blame him with all that was going on. All right. Jimmy Graham. Report on Jimmy Graham is much worse than the report on Rob Gronkowski. Worst injury probably that an NFL player can sustain. He tore his patella tendon.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham. He's
rough. 29 years old.
We saw in recent history what we've seen. We saw Victor Cruz take one. He tore his patella tendon last season. He's missed the entire year. Not surprising. And then I'm drawing a blank on the running back name from Arizona.
Ryan
Williams. Yep. And he tore his patella tendon, and his career was done. And Jimmy Graham is 29.
Yeah, I think this is a career-ending. Not to say he's never going to come back, but he's never going to come back and be the same dominant force, because this is an injury that's going to take a full year to get back from. We're already late into a season. So if he can come back next year, it's not going to be game one. So now you're talking about him being 31 years old, coming off of a year and a half.
It's going to be challenging.
Yeah, it's
going
to be tough.
So Big Ben was not on the field for the last drive due to the concussion protocol. However, they said he's expected to be cleared. He was moving along. His symptoms were going away very quickly. So, wait, what is that? Does it say Roethlisberger does not have a concussion? Is that the report?
The last I read is he had reported in the game. He was the one who self-reported symptoms, so they took him back to get evaluated, but
just to make sure.
Yeah, I haven't heard
so
that
he should
didn't
be fine.
have one.
Yeah, everything says he's going to be back at practice, and he's through it.
Couple injuries for the Cardinals. Chris Johnson and Andre Ellington both left the game. Both went back to the locker room.
Yeah, it's David Johnson time.
David Johnson got a touchdown in the game. Kind of a dirty game for the Cardinals. They snuck by Blaine Gabbert in the division.
Thanks to the refs.
So if Chris Johnson and Ellington are out, how do you feel about David Johnson against the Rams next week?
I like him very much. The Rams, as much as people love the Rams defense, they have been brutal against the run in the last few weeks. I mean, we saw Jeremy Hill having his best game of the year against the Rams until, of course, Jeremy Hill kind of twisted his ankle, but he said he's going to be fine. So I love David Johnson moving forward. I believe that the offense of the Cardinals can be better as long as David Johnson's not fumbling the ball, clearly, but I think he is a boost to this offense.
The one thing I'll say about David Johnson being on the field is that he is a more capable pass catcher out of the backfield than Chris Johnson is at this point in his career. And so if that aspect is there in one player versus kind of like CJ and Ellington were both of those guys, we'll have to see what happens. I think Chris Johnson will probably be back. That's my hunch. So Bill Lazor was fired this morning in the season that never ends for the Miami Dolphins.
Don't play the Jets. The Dolphins, they went to London, played the Jets, got some coaches fired. They go to New York, play the Jets, get a coach fired. But I think this is good news for the running game. You've seen the imbalance that originally got them fired, and Guns Mahoney says, I want to have a more balanced team. They have a more balanced running attack, and then they get away from that in the last couple weeks, and then Bill Lazor gets fired. So I'm not saying that, oh, good, Lamar Miller's back to being a great option. I think you're still going to have the games where you just get game flowed out of a running game entirely because you're not good enough. However, I do think this is better for the running game in the sense that they want to be more balanced, and Bill Lazor is completely willing to go away from it, coming from the Bill Belichick system or the Chip Kelly system.
Tannehill, I believe, threw the ball 61 times yesterday.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those difficult things because you can spin it in a positive way, but you're still talking about a very bad team. I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about a bad team trying to figure out the pieces and these.
My question now for the Dolphins and their play calling situation moving forward, a question I'll put to you guys. With Lamar Miller and Jay Ajayi, you got basically a similar workload in the game, and Devontae Parker went ham towards the end of the game.
Strong words. 4 for 80, though. He scored a touchdown.
4 for 80 with a touchdown. That's a good game.
I agree.
But moving forward, with the season's probably lost, even though, I mean, if things got turned around real quickly because the AFC is so tight and terrible, maybe you could sneak in. But I think basically the season's over. Do they start giving the young guys like Ajayi and Parker, who are the future of the team, do they start giving them more looks with Lamar Miller's on a contract year? There's not much buzz about him getting re-signed by the Dolphins. So does Lamar Miller – now, he won't get phased out, obviously, but does he go to a 50-50 while they try and take a look at the new guys?
Yeah, I mean, 50-50 hasn't meant as much. I don't read too much into it with a smaller workload like this. But, yeah, you got to take a look at Ajayi. Ajayi's been efficient and good. Both guys stunk in this game. But, I mean, the last few weeks, Ajayi's outperformed from an efficiency standpoint Lamar Miller. So, yeah, you got to take a look at them. And they're part of your future. Devontae Parker not being on the field has been a travesty.
Yeah,
the only reason he got on the field was Rashard Matthews' injury.
Yeah, Devontae Parker, I agree with. Actually, the last few weeks, Lamar's been a little bit more efficient. A couple weeks ago, Ajayi was definitely coming on hot. I think with Guns Mahoney there, he needs to win to show other franchises I can be an NFL head coach. I don't see them bringing him back. So he's playing for his future, I think, more than the Dolphins' future, and that to me says try to win now at all costs. I'm curious who it was. Was this the owner that fired Bill Lazor? Was this Guns Mahoney's decision?
Dan Campbell is his name.
Yeah,
his name's Dan Campbell.
Well, yeah.
Just so anybody is curious who you're talking about.
If you haven't been listening, you don't know who.
You can.
But here's the truth. If you hear Guns Mahoney and then you see the current interim head coach of the Dolphins,
Campbell.
If you see him, then you know who we're talking about.
He is a beast.
He is Dan. Yes.